Oh, it brings me back to surfing. At the top of the list, first the physical conditioning that surfing takes. I love the feeling that surfing brings strength and mobility, flexibility into the body. It's not an easy sport to master, and it's one of the hardest things I think you can do. But to be able to do that, especially at age 64, is incredible. It's very empowering for me. There's another component, I don't know if you call it a spiritual component or an existential component, but being out on the water, when you walk into the water and you start paddling out, all the cares of life for me just disappear, and being out in the middle of the water, birds flying overhead, waves moving underneath you, it just takes me to a different place, a very spiritual kind of place, and I just love that about surfing.
One part of it is the way that it feels to catch a wave, but I think another big part of it is being in the water and feeling that connection to the place that we live.
I think there's like this sunflower seed effect. You know how you get a mouthful of sunflowers, you do all the work to crack it open and get that little, just enough reward to make you want to go to the next one. I think there's a bit of a sun seed effect too. Like, no matter how good your ride is, no matter how long it is, you just want to last just a little bit longer.
I wanted to be an economist until I realized that that wasn't quite where I wanted the direction of my life to go. I liked the structure of finance, but the structure of trying to fit things into a box. So I went into transactional law.
I went in straight out of high school. I went to the Naval Academy. It was just a fairly natural choice for me to go there and swam there, and it's just sort of what I wanted to do, and it's been a long, good career though.
I became a gym owner because I was a college athlete who understood the importance of training for sport, and that's what kind of got me into the sports performance realm and training athletes from high school, college, up to the professional level.
Travel inspired me to be a geologist because I wanted to understand why the mountains were what they were, and I thought maybe I could grab a pack string and go out and map the mountains out west, but then I learned that had been done 100 years before me, so I became an environmental cleanup specialist.
I'm in energy finance. I have an older brother that does something similar and a bit older than I. Kind of followed his lead a little bit and just so happened it worked out. So, go Big Brothers.
When I graduated law school, I became a tax attorney, and I was sitting in a cubicle looking at paperwork all day, and as a prosecutor and criminal defense attorney, I'm in the courtroom. Some days I'm at crime scenes, other days I'm in the office or at the jail visiting clients, and it just gets me out of the office, and I'm doing a little something different every other day.
I moved out west to do my internship, and one of my friends that I was doing my internship with brought me out to Tofino, which is like the surf capital of Canada. We gave it a shot, and I was kind of hooked after that.
Similar for me, I surfed kind of a handful of times and then ended up in Masset in Haida Gwaii where we both work. Got into surfing there. And it was, I think you took me out the first time.
Yeah, it was the medicine that brought us to the island, and then
The surf really kind of keeps us there, yeah.
I brought you up for surfing your first time?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so awesome.
I grew up surfing actually on Long Island, but then got busy with life and career, put it aside for a number of decades, and then came back to it about 7 years ago, and now it's a total passion, total obsession, and I love it.
Yes, I've tried it before. We have a good family friend who lives in California. Whenever we used to travel with him when I was younger, we used to always go surfing at the beach. I've been half-assing it for most of my life, but the last 3 or 4 years we've tried to get a little bit more time in the water.
What inspired me to surf was in 1992, I watched the movie Point Break, and a bunch of us said, we've got to learn to surf, and I waited about 25, 30 years before I finally did it. It's a great experience.
I try to surf as regular as possible in New Jersey. It's hit or miss, so there'll be weeks where we don't get to surf at all, and then all of a sudden a swell will come through and we'll get a consistent amount of surfing in. I grew up around surfing. Growing up down the Jersey Shore, everyone either body surfs, body boards, or surfs. I always wanted to try. I'm upset that I waited this late in life to start, but I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I've been a swimmer my whole life, so surfing was a pretty easy transition. I felt like I knew I wanted to get into surfing a long time before I actually had the opportunity to get out and go surfing. I had the opportunity to go surfing out in Hawaii maybe like 8 or 10 years ago, and got into it and spent a lot of time trying to learn it on my own before I had the opportunity to get out to Surf Simply and really fix and correct and figure out what surfing was and how to do it in a fundamentally better way.
I had not surfed at all before coming to Surf Simply. It is something that I'd wanted to learn and explore for a long time, but really wanted to find an environment where I could do so constructively and expansively over a week. And in doing extensive research, Surf Simply came up repeatedly, and that drew me here.
I'd never surfed before. When I was 57, I was vacationing in the British Virgin Isles, and I watched about 20-year-old type kids surfing off a reef break, and I thought that looked like fun. And after exploring the options, I picked Surf Simply.
She surprised me with a surfing trip, which neither of us have ever done before, for my 57th birthday. We arrived the day before my birthday and went from learning which end of the surfboard to point to the shore. And I did a cutback on a big wave my last day. It was thrilling. This has been an epic week.
You know, she used to always go and always be in the water. She's such a trooper, always getting pushed in the waves. And so before we came, she was actually really dedicated to swimming so she could catch waves on her own. So it was really, really cool to see her out there outside for all 2 hours, you know, catching, 4 or 5 waves by herself. So it was pretty cool.
It was absolutely thrilling. The joy on Allie's face when she's shooting down a wave and standing up on it and riding it all the way to the beach, it just made me so happy.
When you do get that really good first wave on the outside, pretty cool experience. So it makes you want to be a bit more philosophical.
As a coach, myself, I can be pretty critical on watching others coach. My coach this week was Will, and he was phenomenal. Coaching me through what you would think would be the normal things, like the cues on, what to do on certain parts of the wave, but also kind of building confidence in taking on bigger waves, paddling out through a bigger set, video analysis. One of the best coaching experiences that I've had was someone coaching me.
My coach for the week was Fran, who has the patience of an absolute saint.
And she is a fantastic person. She pushed me just enough to overcome a little bit of quit in me.
Harrison was our coach. I mean, he did a great job.
He's absolutely amazing.
Jeb was my partner. We both surfed together.
Got us from basically riding waves on our bellies on the inside to standing up and riding down the line on the outside in 1 week.
What's surprising is being in the water, I didn't realize what a workout it is.
Especially when, you had to paddle out into the outback and do turtle dives and, things of that nature. And really that was probably the biggest thing I had to overcome besides just learning how to surf, which in the end I did.
I've been surfing on and off for a couple of years, and I've been in a bad habit, so everything had to be deconstructed. I was kind of getting a little bit frustrated that things just seemed like they were coming together. I could figure it out in my mind, but my body wasn't really doing it. I swam past Rue, and he could see that I looked a little frustrated. He's like, "So, are you doing okay? What's going on?" I was like, "Well, I'm just a little frustrated. I feel like I'm taking backward steps. I'm still struggling with things like the basics." And he goes, "Well, the most important thing is that we're teaching you how to diagnose your own problems, how to go on and have continued learning by being able to kind of analyze your surfing. You're not going to perfect things here, and that's not what we expect. We're arming you with the tools to keep improving when you go home." And I really do feel like that's going to be the big takeaway for me.
This is my third trip and it keeps drawing me back. I love coming here so much and I love catching up with the coaches.
Rue has put together a spectacular group of people.
Fantastic group of people here. I could not have asked for a better week, and the encouragement and support and advice that I was given from everyone here, both other guests and staff, is really unparalleled and completely exceeded my expectations.
I came into this experience with pretty high expectations, and they fulfilled them and above and beyond. Everything from the facility, the food.
The chef is great. I mean, it's just like dining in a top scale restaurant. Came down here thinking I'd probably lose some weight, but I mean, the food's so good. I think I overate every meal.
The quality of the waves, the quality of the coaching, it's been an amazing experience.
Seeing how much Surf Simply is improving everything that's already so great here. Meeting new people, experiencing it, and just having the opportunity to come back and really commit to improving the aspects of my surfing.
It was really nice having everything taken care of. For the last 2 weeks, our only job has been to surf, relax, eat great food, focus on your surfing.